Mikel Arteta's gonna hate to drop a very huge hint on Julian Timber's injury progress, and you guys, you're gonna get excited. And I dedicate this video to none other than let me get the name of this guy right. Let me dedicate this video because he's the one who obviously asked this question, and I had even forgotten to do this story, by the way, but I had to do it courtesy of him. And he goes by the names of Casey Zibodo Nicholas. He told me, thanks for the updates. Talk about Julian Timber's injury situation. Now, towards the game of Brentford, Arteta went ahead and obviously got asked about Julian Timber, how he was going to hit to integrate in the club of Arsenal, and how far is on really getting back to grass. So it obviously prepares for his return. And Arteta went ahead to reply to those two questions, and it has been a very positive impact that he has gone ahead to obviously give you. Be optimistic for the return of Julian Timber, and there is a lot of pain in Arteta's talk that he went ahead to obviously miss out onto this player. So we are going to talk about Bernardo Silva giving Doku his flowers. Doku is a player that came in through at Man City towards the end of the transfer window, but when you look at what is going to put up on the field of play, guys, it looks like he has been a regular into the Premier League. That is Doku for you. And lastly, we are going to discuss how Unai Emery, after beating Spurs at their stadium, he has gone ahead to name them in the 7 sides that can compete for the Champions League place this season. So smash the like button, comment and share. If at all you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Rokani David is my name, and hope you guys are really having fun wherever you are, and you can as well call me RD. Thank you for obviously subscribing. You people are hugely subscribing to this channel, and I think we are like, how many subscribers? Let me check. We are like just 23 subscribers to hit 18,100, right? So guys, let's see them. Let us see ourselves reach that number by the end of today, because today is the 27th of November 2023. Now, we thank God for the gift of life. The Muslims Barakallahu Fikum, and let's continue to obviously get to where we deserve to be. Now, let's start it off with Mikel Arteta. He was asked a question that read on if we will see Julian Timber on the grass soon, because when a player gets on the grass, that means he's really nearing return. He said, well, I hope so. He's been for a few walks out on the field. He's still a bit far from competing, but he's in a good place. So if you're an Arsenal fan and there is any huge positive you'd want to get from your manager about the return of Julian Timber, then you've got it. Well, I hope so, meaning that he hopes that he's on grass and he has been out for a few walks on the field, meaning that he's just walking now with his foot right to feel and do some little bit of trots, but he's still far off from competing, but he's in a good place, meaning that the surgery went on very well. He's off the clutches. That is really a very huge boost, and he's back at the London Conley, trying to do the walking, the little runs and trots, to see to it that this body really goes on to really get back to where it was. And this is the rehabilitation process that they're obviously going to take him through. And this shows you that after December, he might be back running onto the pitch. And Arteta doesn't want to rush any player back. You saw it onto Gabriel Jesus after the 2-1 win away in Sevilla. He has obviously kept him at Arsenal. And I think when he was sending him to the Brazilian national team, he had talked to the manager that after him training with you for like a week, then he'll be good to go. And obviously he went ahead and played his first full 90 minutes for Brazil this year. And for Martin Odegaard, you saw how he was really keen on him. And you see to it that when a player just feels a little bit of an ego, then the manager takes him off. It will be remembered that Julian Timber had a very good spell during the preseason. And trust me, he was the best signing in the preseason of Arsenal before Declan Rice really came good. But very, 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 very absurdly, he got an injury when he was playing his first Premier League game for Arsenal at the Emirates, and he got off the field of play, and he was given or ruled out for 6 months. But he looks like he might come in through around the 5th month, around January and maybe the beginning of February. That's when this guy is obviously going to be up and back and running. But I would like to let you know that he's one of those players that is obviously going to give Arsenal a lot, especially in the final third. Remember, when he was playing for Ajax, no player, no defender in this world went ahead to do more progressive passes than Julian Timber, meaning that however good he is in the defensive part, when he comes into the final third of the opponent, he can really do what we call a killer pass or a line-breaking pass to it that he opens up that defense. And I think if you're having Zinchenko on the left and having Julian Timber on the right, then the opponents will have to feel it, because these players can attack you, by playing as inverted fullbacks. And they're really good on the ball, and they can even find that line-breaking pass. So I think Arsenal are really missing him a lot. And in this next question that was asked to Mikel Arteta, he obviously opens up and admits that the fact is we missed this player. It was not a plan, but that had to happen that way because they're not responsible for injuries. But we all know that the Arsenal doctors are the ones to blame, because the player got an injury towards halftime, and during the halftime break, they asked the player, and the player told them, "I'm good to go." You understand? Then the player just played for 1 minute and he couldn't even control the ball. That is Julian Timber. So it was a very huge mistake for the physio team of Arsenal. Now, let's go to the other question they asked Mikel Arteta about Julian Timber, about Timber's integration into the club and how he's around the place. Arteta said, "Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. If you talk to anyone in the club, in that building, everyone gets close to him, will tell you he's a very special guy. We were really impressed when we signed him. Sometimes when you see the player live in your environment, playing and training, we went, wow, we have an incredible player. He's a big setback and a difficult moment to go through, and he's been really special in the way he has handled the situation, really special." Now, you've heard it very well that even the manager's gone ahead and confirmed to us that he's had a very big setback and a difficult moment to go through, and it's really unacceptable at Arsenal that this player who was going to transform this side of Arsenal to go to the next level is obviously out, because it means a very huge blow in the system of Mikel Arteta. Trust me, the reason as to why Arsenal never went in to sign another central defender is because Julian Timber was a variable, and they knew to it that they could easily play Julian Timber as a right back, Zinchenko as a left back, then Saliba was going to be given a player to deputize him, albeit he's understudy as Ben White, because you cannot play Ben White throughout. So by so doing, this guy got an injury, and that was a very huge setback for Arsenal, because their plan was written all over the wall that Julian Timber was obviously going to be a regular into that side of Arsenal, because he possesses qualities that Arteta wants in his system. And Arteta's gonna hate to show us that he's not afraid to make huge calls and huge changes. You saw to hit on Aaron Ramsdale. He pulled him out of the goal and he put in the player called David Raya without further ado. So it shows you exactly that he is missing the player, but he's loved by everyone. He looks to be a jolly guy, simple, and he's still young, and he is really an impressive addition to the squad of Arsenal. So we wait and see what more is obviously going to be told to us about Julian Timber, but don't be shocked if at all you see videos of Julian Timber running on the grass very, very soon, especially in the second week of December. I anticipate he's going to really use those 2-3 weeks to study the prayers for his return towards the mid-January or early February, and he prepares to play for England, for Netherlands in the Euros. That is Julian Timber. And it's a blessing, these guys, for Arsenal, that however much he has been out, Arsenal is top of the table. They are topping the table, and by the time he returns, he'll be ready to go and obviously give this Arsenal side the best of performances that everyone really loves. Now, after that, we go to the player Jeremy Doku. Guys, This guy plays like he has been here for a very long time. That's what really surprises me. When you look at Jurrien Doku, you know, when you look at his age, you won't believe that this guy is just 21 years of age. 21 years of age. Man City signed him towards the end of this summer transfer window, and he has gone ahead to come in through and fire up all cylinders. 10 games in the Premier League, 2 goals and 5 assists. In the Champions League, 4 games, 1 goal, 1 assist. So that is how good this guy has gone ahead to show up. And he has gone ahead to play 15 games, 3 goals and 6 assists. This is an impact every manager would want from a player like him, because if you have a player like Jurrien Doku doing more assists than goals, that gives you a very clear instinct that you are obviously not going to struggle when it comes to obviously scoring goals. And the reason as to why Man City never went ahead to obviously score many goals when they're playing Liverpool over the weekend, it's because the likes of Haaland, Phil Foden just failed to obviously hit the target from the efforts coming in from Jurrien Doku. But he had everything at the top. I wish I can find that story from City Extra that gives us Jurrien Doku and how he had everything at the top when they played the side of the side of Liverpool over the weekend. Now Bernardo Silva has come out and really painted all hails on praises to Jurrien Doku. He said you can't give him limitations, otherwise he loses his magic. We have to let him be himself, do his thing, whilst knowing he has a responsibility to help when he doesn't have the ball. But he's been doing really well. Guys, if there is a player who is really industrious going to the final third, it's Jurrien Doku. The way he dances with the ball, you know, and he dances through the opponents is really mesmerizing. And you will not see him lose that ball. He rarely loses that ball. And even when he loses it, he goes ahead to fight for it. That's why he came in at like 60 million euros from the French side to come into Man City, and he has gone ahead to really displace the 100 million pound player that is Jack Grealish. It shows you that Pep Guardiola has seen a lot in this player, and he knows exactly what this player will bring up on the field of play. And for me, Jurrien Doku, I don't like Man City, but I love the player. He's a joy to watch, and everything he does, especially in the final third of the pitch, just shows me how good he is. We know he's this kind of player who is really unpredictable, that sometimes you might think he's going to go to the byline and he dances and chops inside, you know. Then when you think he's going to chop inside, he goes to the byline, and trust me, it's very hard to block him on the byline. That is Jurrien Doku for you. Though when I was going to hate to face some big teams, he has not gone ahead to obviously put in shifts that everyone expected him to put in through. But this guy Jurrien Doku is really levels, you know. Jurrien Doku is levels. If at all you don't really agree in it, then you need to obviously come in through and obviously read through what he did when they're obviously playing the side of Liverpool. Jurrien Doku had 12 dribbles completed, most in the match, 4 chances created, most in the match, 18 duels won with 3 tackles won. This is the guy I'm talking about. He came in through and really gave in lots of efforts, and this guy is really unstoppable, and let's go ahead and obviously give him his flowers. And I think with time he'll turn into a Pep Guardiola player, and I think Pep Guardiola can turn this player into a Lionel Messi. You know, if a player loses his magic when you really limit him to do his dancing things, you just have to let him know that you have the liberty to use the ball whatever you want. And that's what he told Messi. Even Raheem Sterling told him that you behave like Messi. Though you are not Messi, behave like Messi. Feel like you have the liberty to use that ball whatever you want, because the manager will obviously get to know that if at all I limit Jurrien Doku, then he'll turn out not to be the kind of player that everyone wants him to be. So that's a story coming in from Man City and Jurrien Doku getting his flowers. Now yesterday, the first game that opened up this Sunday was Tottenham Hotspur that ended 2-1 in favour of Aston Villa. And the manager of Aston Villa, formerly at Arsenal, Unai Emery, has named Tottenham Hotspur as one of the 7 sides he feels are better contenders for a Champions League place than his Aston Villa side, despite the result at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium yesterday. So, the story has been read to us by Sammy Mikel, chief reporter, Daily Mail. To me, all in my own understanding, this is really gonna hurt Spurs fans. Spurs can only contend for this if at all they sign 2 more players in the January transfer window. They're really serious. That is it. But if they don't sign those players in, they're obviously going to face it rough. Why? Teams like Manchester United are really having players out injured, and they are really trying to win. In the last 6 games, they've won 5. Teams like Arsenal are topping the table without Thomas Partey, without Emily Smith-Rowe, and without Julian Timber. And they are going to reinforce during the January transfer window. So, Spurs, to contend for any place for the Champions League, because they are taking in 5 teams, he needs to obviously come in through and obviously put in a shift of obviously signing in players, because it doesn't mean that the injuries are going to stop there. The injuries are still coming. The injuries are still coming. That is it. So, your thoughts on to Arteta hints on Julian Timber's injury progress are welcome in the comment section below. What do you make about Jeremy Doku? Bernardo Silva giving him the praise he really likes, that if you limit him, then you're not going to get the best out of him. And what do you make about Unai Emery's prediction on Spurs being part of the 7 teams that can contend for Champions League places? And let me really tell you, however much Aston Villa is doing like that, Spurs is doing like that, I don't think they're going to be in the top 5 teams. I'm sorry to say. Because Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Manchester United, and Newcastle, and Chelsea, mark those 6 teams. Those are going to be the 6 teams contending for the top 4. That is it. Chelsea is having a slow start, but I think with time, they'll obviously do it. Having 16 points, and they're 12 points off the top 4, I think if they don't lose many of the games they're going to play, then they can obviously catch up during the January side. And in that last half of the season, they can obviously get and hit the fire running. I cover you all in the precious blood of Jesus Christ. The Muslims, Barakallahu Fikum. Good morning. Rokani David is my name. I'm out.